welcome to the program. I am DEJI360. Now, this is a very difficult period for Nigeria. The state of insecurity in the country has reached an alarming state. The bombing last week at Nyanya Bus Park in Abuja, that's last Monday now, brings the clearest, it's the clearest pointer yet that we are in deep crisis. And just as we were trying to come to terms with that attack, 129 schoolgirls were abducted from their school in the town of Chibok in Borno State. Only 14 of the girls have so far been accounted for. As we understand, the 14 managed to escape, but no one knows the fate of the others. Two eyewitness accounts of the Abuja blast paints a familiar picture of our response when it comes to emergency. Take a listen to the account of these two guys, to have a sense of how authorities responded to the attack.
Police, Nigeria, we were calling for help. Nobody to help. We only saw 5 civil defense. We were calling because all these 5 civil defense and the people are going to the work. None of them have vehicle. We were calling for help. People that are still unconscious, that are on the ground. We were calling. We will be able to call the police station here to assist the police to be able. No one that even voice out, even common police station that is close to this place. No police. VIO are here. No one could be able to come out. What kind of force are they? But if they see people outside, they will be arresting them. Impressing peoples. What kind of nation are we?
The thing that baffles me here most is that the fire service are not here early to quench the fires. This is the truth I'm saying. Because we didn't call it, I did not have their number because I'm not working. I'm just a youth. So I see there's nobody to help. So we are about like 7 of us that rush in here packing bodies. So before the ambulance now came.
Now, as you know, shortly after the attack, President Goodluck Jonathan was at the scene. At least this time it was Abuja, so there could not have been any excuse at all for the president not to show. Anyway, here is what the president said.
Collectively express our condolences to the bereaved families, those who suffer directly from the loss of these people. Let me also commend the security services for their prompt action. At least a number of them are in the hospital. We've lost quite a number of people. I condole with our countrymen and women. We continue to work very hard. The issue of Boko Haram attack, that lovely history. Within this period of our own development, government will do everything to make sure that we move our country forward. These are the unnecessary distractions that pushing us backward.
Now, 24 hours after that incident, guess where the president was? He was at a political rally in Kano where he went to welcome defectors from the APC to the PDP. This picture of the president dancing at the rally ground generated heated reactions across the country as the president was accused of rejoicing while the nation mourned. The opposition All Progressives Congress joined in lambasting the president of being insensitive, but of course the president's men fought back. First, PDP spokesman Olisametu accused the APC of being behind the Abuja bombing, and then Information Minister Labaran Mako said if the president had not attended the rally, it would have been moral victory for the insurgents that they could stop government from functioning. Now, the politicization of the crisis took a dramatic turn when opposition governors did not show up at a National Security Council meeting called by the president. There is confusion at the moment why the opposition party governors did not show up at that meeting. But shortly after the meeting, Akwa Ibom State governor said the APC governors were not invited and that the meeting was at the instance of the PDP governors. To get a sense of what actually happened now, I'm being joined on the program by the APC spokesperson Alhaji Lai Mohammed, just to give us an idea of what exactly happened. We want to get their own side of the story. Alhaji Mohammed, thank you very much for joining us. Tell us exactly what happened. Did your party governors get an invitation to attend this meeting and they decided not to?
I think the presidency is playing games with Nigerians, especially with the security of the nation. The APC governors were initially invited to the meeting. They were subsequently disinvited when the presidency reached out to the governors to tell them that the meeting had been cancelled.
Really?
In particular, the Kwara State Governor and the Borno State Governor, they were contacted by the presidency that the meeting had been postponed. This was the information that was passed on to all our governors, and that's why none of them attended the meeting. Interestingly enough, even yesterday when the meeting was going on, and the governor of Yobe State now asked why asked his ADC to please contact the villa, whether the meeting had been reinstated. The villa told him that no, that meeting is only for PDP governors. And we thank God that even the governor of Akwa Ibom confirmed that. So how can you set us up and then go to the air and say we would not attend the meeting when you deliberately disinvited us from attending us? So one should ask Mr. President, what exactly is going on? What is going on? Why is he playing politics without security?
It's quite a surprise that your counterpart in the PDP, I'm talking about the spokesperson of the PDP now, Lisa Metru, has come out to say you boycotted, that your governors boycotted the meeting.
But Tony, it isn't very clear that Metru does not know what he's talking about. The governor of Akwa Ibom told the whole world that we were not invited to that meeting.
That's quite true.
And I'm not giving you instances now too, but yes, we were invited and we were disinvited. So who's playing games with who?
But are you bothered at the way this whole thing is being politicized, the security of the country?
Now, there's only one person who's politicizing security in this country, the president and his party. Because how else will you explain that a few minutes after the bomb blast in Nyanya, without any investigation, nothing, the PDP went out to say, oh, the APC is responsible. And then, less than 4 hours after, the president jumped on campaign wagon to start dancing and whining in Kanu and Lika in the body. Then who's not serious? Who's not sincere about security of life and property?
Alhaji Lai Mohammed, let me just ask you this final question. Would your party, because we understand that the meeting has been rescheduled for Wednesday, would your party governors be attending that meeting?
We have never instructed our governors to attend or not to attend any meeting in the past. Most of these meetings, whether it's Security Council meeting or it's Economic Council meeting, they're statutory meetings. And it's only when governors are not able to attend, they send their deputies. It's not something that the party will tell them attend or not to attend. And you can see like what happened 2 days ago. It was definitely the federal government tried to play some mischief. So for us, it's not even an issue. Why would we, that we have several times asked government to call a national summit on security, why would we be the ones not to attend? Well, the governors are very patriotic and serious citizens and leaders. They will attend if they are given invitation.
All right, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, spokesperson of the All Progressives Congress. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Now, the way this security crisis has been handled is not going down well with many Nigerians. Here's how this lawyer reacted to the development. Take a listen to him.
One thing that is clear is that these people want to make tremendous impact. And they seem to be succeeding. While the politicians are busy playing politics with everything, including our collective survivor, they are busy strategizing and re-strategizing for 2015, when the country is burning. I think the abduction of those girls is insensitive. And then it shows clearly that what is happening is not just a local problem. It's beyond us. I think we need international support and assistance.
Now we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have a guest analyst weigh in on all of this. Stay with us. Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on DEJI360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions. Welcome back. Joining me on the program right now is Malaki Ogumadu, a lawyer and public affairs analyst, to discuss some of these issues. Malaki, thank you very much for coming on the program. You look at what is going on today. Tell me how worried you are.
Well, I think you will be moderating the language when you said worried. I expected you to ask me how perturbed, seriously disturbed. I mean, it will take people who live in the moon to undermine the seriousness of where we find ourselves today. Security-wise, it is almost zero. I talk in the terms that I do because out there, there is confusion, there is serious perplexion. It is palpable, you can feel it. This is away from the direct victims. And when I say direct victim, I also means the relations of those who are affected by this carnage. The carnage has become perennial. It has become almost given that as we talk now, the numbers that will be read out tomorrow will be sure. What the media managers of the presidency simply do these days is just change the figure, the casualty figures, change the location, and then the usual refrain of we're on top of the situation, go about your business, normal business, and that we'll deal with the situation. Now, I think I needed to emphasize this point because, quite frankly, what is the essence of governance anywhere, everywhere in the world? It is, as even constitutionally provided, to secure the lives and property of the citizens of any nation. But in recent times, when I say recent times, I'm talking about a few years back now. That critical primary assignment of government has completely eroded the Jonathan administration. And I think that the way it's going at the moment, people are also losing grip of what it takes to redirect the tide.
What do you make of because the seeming, whether I would like it or not even seeming, glaring politicization of this issue? Shortly before you came on the program, we were speaking with Alhaji Lai Mohammed. You know, they had the Security Council meeting. The president said he invited the APC governors. The APC governors said they were not invited. And later, the PDP coming out to say, well, we had Akpabio coming out to say, well, the APC governors were not invited. It was just a PDP. The seeming politicization of the... It appears our politicians are not really serious at dealing with this problem.
It clearly underscores the level of sensitivity of the political class towards those that they are governing. It clearly shows how very undetermined, in the true sense of it, that these people are to deal with this crisis. Now, the worst that can happen is the kind of language, the kind of body language, the kind of steps taken by the politicians. I mean, no less politicians, like even the president. You would recall that immediately after the Nyanya,
just 24 hours after.
Just 24 hours, barely 24 hours, our president moved to Kano. He didn't go there in a sober mood. He didn't also have need to even take advantage of that forum to deal with the challenge of that moment. He went on dancing, quite oblivious of the peculiarity of the crisis that has befallen his country.
How would you react to, because his men actually came out to defend him, to say, look, if the president ought to have done what he did, that if the president had not done it, that it would have sent a wrong message to Boko Haram, that it would have been some kind of moral victory for Boko Haram? Well, I mean, I'm talking about...
Labra Mako, yes, I listened to him. There is merit in that. But the bigger question would be, what message have you succeeded in sending? I mean, at the end at the end of the day, it is simple, it is simplistic to come across, in the way and manner that Mako did. But ultimately, how do you explain that to the mother, to the surviving sibling, to the father of any of that attack? Also
considering the fact that after the next day we had 129 students were abducted.
And the poverty of that situation is that is the supervening contradictions that are also coming out. When the spokesperson of the Nigerian Army, Chris Olukolade, came out clearly and publicly announcing that about 100 of such children have been rescued, and made so much noise about it, only to find out that we had just been told lies. Now, I've used that expression to draw the pain, that probably the anguish that the Nigerian people are facing at the moment. And there is very little you can do about the perception already being built, in the sense that for as long as the victims of this carnage begin to experience the contradiction, the inconsistency of our government relating to such sensitive, critical challenge at the moment, for that long, every other person believes that he is on his own. And I say this with the fear that is actually the last signal before you get to anarchy.
How damaging do you think that was?
But please, if you would allow me to recount, because I wanted to be a little historical regarding the penultimate question you asked, to say, look, the truth is that even at inception, when this menace came up, started rearing its head, I remember Nigeria as a country was in the state of denial. Rather than appraising the situation, taking proactive steps and moving some steps ahead of these terrorists, it was Dora Akunyere, I remember, who was the Minister for Information at the time. It took almost 1 year of sermonizing, that Nigeria cannot be a terrorist country, that these going to the element, this is not Pakistan, this is not Afghanistan, we are not terrorists by nature of Africa. And suddenly the consolidation came in such a way that as we speak today, these elements have the capacity to invade military formations. Honestly, and overrun them. It's quite worrying. This element can predict, they can tell you it will happen the next day, and it will happen as we speak. I understand that there was a note left in the Yanya incident indicating federal government, this is part 1, expect part 2. And to behold that this next day, they were able to cut away 100, almost 200 young girls from a particular school in the manner and way they did it. Wait a minute, does it mean in a state that is also under emergency rule? Clearly underscores the point that we are actually in. We are in short, we are getting too far in the woods, so much so that if you have a clear picture of the dimension and the implication of what is going on now, you will conclude, like many objective observers are doing, that Nigeria is actually a failing state, very close to a failed state. Because what is it? One of the strongest indices of measuring that is the capacity of the sitting government to provide security for lives and security, and that is not happening.
Finally, I just have to ask you this. I want you to take a look at something. Now, one of the things that we have seen, which is, of course, generating strong reaction, is that we've seen the president attend various rallies. They call it unity rallies. But, some people have said, look, this is basically campaign in disguise. I just want you to take a look at this, and when we come back, let me get your reaction. Let's take a look at this.
From today onward, PDP will take over all the Southeast. We have been magnanimous, now total.
Tell me, what do you make of that? Is that not campaigning? Hasn't the president begun campaigning for 2015?
Well, that was an unmistakable campaign. That was clearly a campaign by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on behalf of the People's Democratic Party, you know, calling for support and sympathy, you know, in the elections.
But are you surprised that INEC is not doing anything about this?
Now, INEC under Jega is actually a mixed bag, in the sense that it has risen to the occasion on some occasions and looked the other way on so many other occasions. We are beginning to realize that, well, it is not so much about the person. It is indeed about the system. And so even if you had a Jega that came with a pedigree, you know, that seemed as though would solve all the problems, you could see that he would do very little in the circumstances that he found himself. Now, this is one of such.
How can INEC take on the president?
Very clearly.
Well,
because the Electoral Act does not discriminate between any person. It doesn't say in the event that the president or even the chairman of a political party violates the law.
Some will tell you that's what the Electoral Act says.
Now, but to further paint this gloomy picture so that Nigerians will understand it, is that some of us firsthand have certain that INEC indeed is limited in the powers that they can exercise. I give you one particular example. I wasn't in the Akure convention of NBA, Nigerian Bar Association, but soon after the delegates who attended that finished, I started getting calls from all over the country informing me that I was one of those who were appointed to prosecute electoral offences. You would imagine, DEJI,
you were not informed.
You may imagine, DEJI, how excited that could come if we have the opportunity to advance that aspect of our exercises. Indeed, I received the letter. Okay. But from that moment till today,
you received the letter
yes,
from INEC?
Yes, I have it. From that moment till today, not a single case have been directed to in short, it took, because we were enthusiastic about that aspect of the law. Indeed, we have asked questions regarding what happens to Section 150 of the Electoral Act, the portion or the provision of the Act that empowers INEC to deal with electoral offences. We came to the conclusion that the impunity with which people are continuing to flout the Electoral Act and even the Constitution has to do with the fact that those who have perpetrated it in the past got nothing in terms of punishment or otherwise.
So INEC didn't give you anything? Did you get in touch?
Well, to the extent that you will not be found to be beggarly about all of this. And I have tried to do a little research to find that it's across board, everywhere. I'm supposed to handle some in Lagos State. Indeed, we were prepared, pro bono, as we have done in the past. But let that aspect of our polity take shape. But clearly, it seems that INEC is not disposed to. Perhaps you can rationalize it by saying that, well, it is a midwifing agency of government. It has not got all the paraphernalias of state coercive powers to deal with the proper investigation, the proper prosecution, and all that it takes to prepare a criminal offense against any person. But I make this point because they come across as a toothless bulldog. When you consistently, I mean, there's no way any person would say that what the president is doing is not campaigning. He has said it before. He has jumped the gun, and he's still continuing. This is not the, in short, this time around, he's doing it to fend the sensibility of Nigerians. When people are yet to be buried, you are junketing from one place to another as though it never mattered. The Malaysian Prime Minister, we understand, is still in the trenches, in the full search of those missing 360 passengers of the ill-fated flight. And examples such as that, when it happened in Chile, when the mine collapsed in Chile, the president was practically there almost every other day, inspiring, reassuring the people that they actually have a president to rely on, and that the state was actually responsible and sensitive to the plight of these people. And when you juxtapose that with what we get here, it is bad enough that the government is not providing the amenities. It's not advancing our humanity in any way. It is worse that when the consequence of their ineptitude come full blast on the victims of that situation, they carry on. They carry on. That is no longer acceptable.
Michael Gumera, thank you very much for coming on the program. Thank you very much for your thoughts. Well, that's it on the program. If you want to watch it again, it's simple. All you just do is go to our website, tv360nigeria.com. You'll find the program there and lots more. You can also watch us on YouTube by subscribing to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/TV360Nigeria. Follow us on Google Plus and Google Plus, of course, we're at just at TV360 Nigeria. And you can like us on Facebook. The address is facebook.com/TV360 online. You can also follow us on Twitter. Handle is at TV360 online. Thank you very much for watching. I am DEJI360. I'll see you next week.